So you have to create a file. Okay, click on this file and new notebook. If you want to use the existing file, you can use the existing file, no problem with that. But for your understanding, I will create a new file. Okay, so in this new file, first thing what we are going to do, we will read the CSV file. Okay, we will read the CSV file. So how we can read the CSV file? For that, you have to first define the heading. Okay, so for instead of code, we are using the text, and right here we are using the hash, and after the hash we will give the heading. So read CSV file. CSV stand for comma separated. Okay, so this file contain some values which are comma separated values. Okay, so you execute this, and what after executing this particular file you will do, you will import the pandas. Okay, so what is pandas? So this panda is used for the file handling. Okay, so PANDAS. This is a library. Okay, this is a library which contain some function, which contains some function to handle the files, to handle the files. Okay, we can edit the data from this particular pandas library. Okay, so that's why we will use the panda inside our CSV file. Okay, pandas is a library used for the data analysis. Okay, it is also used for the manipulation of the data. So we will use this pandas first. So how we can use the panda? So you have to first install it, then you have to import it. I already installed this panda. If you want to install, how you can install? This is a command: pip install pandas, PANDAS. Okay, so use shift enter key, and you will see this panda library will be installed inside your system. Okay, so you can see right here in my system it shows that already installed, but for the first time user it shows the message that it is installing the files. Okay, so after installing, what you have to do, you have to import this library inside the Google Colab. For importing, you will use the import function, IMPORT. Okay, import is a function, okay, which will import the library. And what is the library name? Pandas. And how we can use it? As PD. Okay, so import pandas as PD. We will use this particular command to import the panda which is installed in the system. After that, what we will do, we will take the input from that particular file which is stored right here. So in the last session I have told you, you have to click on this folder on the left hand side, and here you will find arrow on the folder side. Click on that particular arrow, and here you will see the content. Okay, so on the content side you have to click on these three dots, and right here you will find upload option. Okay, so click on this upload option, and these three files which you have downloaded, you have to upload them. Okay, so it says reminder that uploaded files will get deleted when this runtime is recycled. Means when you stop executing or exiting from this tab, these file will be lost. So press OK and click on the content. You will see all these files will be present right here. A variable. We store the file content inside the variable. So we will define a variable df and we equate it to the pd dot read csv. So this read underscore CSV is a function which will read the file. So what is the file name? Data14.csv. This is the file name. Okay. So after this, what we will do, we will print what is present inside the df variable. Okay. So for the printing, we use this print function, and inside this print function, we will write which type of data type is this. So for getting the type of this variable, or we can say this df, we can use the function type function t by pe. Okay. So inside this type function, we have to define the variable name. The variable name is df. Okay. So what we have to show right here, we have to show the output of this df variable. So we will give the output right here, and the output will be shown with the help of this type function. Okay, so type, then inside this type we have to define the variable name and we have to close the whole loop. Clear everyone? Quickly give your response in chat. Now if you want to show the top 5 row of your data, which function you will use? You will use the head function. Okay, so we have used this data frame in a variable named df, and we use the head function after this using a dot operator. And after this, you will find that inside this df variable, all the top 5 rows will be displayed below this. Okay, so we have to execute this particular program. So we use shift enter key. So right here, this syntax error is showing. Okay, so you have to troubleshoot where is the error. So you can see right here, this bracket which we have closed right here is not needed. Okay, so we solved this error, and you can see all the top 5 rows will be displayed right here. F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6 and F7. These all the columns. Okay, so you have to retrieve the data types from these columns. Before this text, you have to write the hash. So that will be considered as a comment. Okay, this line will not be executed if you use the hash symbol. Okay, so inside this column F1 to F7, what are the different data type? You have to use the variable name. What is the variable name? df is the variable name. After df, we use the dot operator and we use the function name. Okay, so what is the function name to get the data types inside this particular file? D type. D types. So this is the function. You have to execute it, and you will see this ID column contain integer 64 values. F1 column contain integer 64. F2 column contain float 64. So you can see this is the F2 value, and all the values are in the form of float. Okay, whereas this F1 contain 0 and 1 value. So this particular F1 is integer type. Similarly, ID is also integer type. So in this manner, you will see all the data types which are present inside this particular file. Okay. So after this, we have to get the dimension of the data set. Okay. So what are the different dimensions of this data? Okay, present in the variable df variable. So how you can retrieve the shape of this data? So first thing, we have to retrieve the shape of data type. Shape of data. So let's use the print statement. So this print statement will display the output. So what output you have to show? You have to show the shapes of this data. Okay. So you have to use the function. What is the function name? Shape. Okay. You have to use the name of this particular data frame. Okay, shape of that data frame. Okay, so this df dot shape will be shown with the help of df dot shape. Okay, you have to close it, and this bracket is not needed right here, and you have to execute it. So you can see this df dot shape shows that total number of rows are 12,067, whereas total number of columns are 8. Okay. So how you can find out the rows? How you can find out the rows? So for that, if you want to find out the rows, row, so inside the shape. Okay, so what is the index value? 0 stand for the row, so 0 is your row value. Okay, so how many rows are there? 12,067 rows are there. Okay, if you want to show the data in columns, okay, so how you can use this data inside the df variable? So columns is equal to df dot shape. What is the index value right here? Index value is 1. Okay, so you can execute it and you will see how many columns are there. 8 columns are there, and we use the head function. Okay, after using this head function, you will see the top 5 rows of the data, bottom 5 rows of data, TAIL. Okay, this is a tail function which will give you output for bottom 5 rows. Okay, assessing data, assessing data from data set. Okay, so what is the syntax for this? Syntax is you have to use ilock function and you have to define a row column position. Okay, so this is the function name ilock. Ilock is the function name, and in the square bracket you have to define the row, and you have to define the column position. Okay, column position, you have to define the row and the column position. This is the syntax for assessing the data from the variable. Okay, everyone. So you can use this ilock function. So let's take a look how we can use. We have the variable. What is the variable name? df. And we can access this variable using dot operator. So after the dot operator, you have to use ilock function. Okay. So in the ilock function, you have to define the row. Okay. So what is the row? You will start the row from 0 to 10. Okay, you will start the row from 0 to 10, and you can give the column position up to which position you have to show the output. Okay, so you can write the column position. So I am writing the column position to 5. That means it will show the rows from 0 to 10. Okay, up to 5 columns. Okay, so right here you can see this is column number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it will take the values from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 columns will be shown right here. The row position, okay, and this is the column position. So this row position will initialize to 0 to n minus 1. So what is the last value? Last value is 10. So 10 minus 1 is equal to 9. So it will show the output from 0 to 9. Okay, so that's why it start from 0 and end up at the ninth position. And how many columns it shows? It shows 5 columns. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 5 columns are shown starting from 0 to n minus 1 location. For 20 rows, okay, you have to show the output for the 20 rows, and up to 7 column you have to show the output. Okay, so I am changing these values right here, and I am executing it. You will see it will start from the 0 location and end up with n minus 1 location. So what is n minus 1 location right here? 20 minus 1 is equal to 19. So 19 rows starting from 0, 0 to 19, it will show the output. And how many columns it shows right here? 7 columns. So you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns it will show. The values starting from 10 to n minus 1, 99. So you can see 10 to 99 values will be shown right here. So it will show the negative. It will not show the minus 2 values, means it will not show the last 2 values of your data. Okay, so what are the last 2 values of your data? F6 and F7. These are the last 2 values of the data. So this is minus 1 and this is minus 2. So these 2 values are separated from the data. Okay, use the same concept, and you have to show the output from 20 to 30. Okay, you have to show the output from 20 to 30, and you have to take the column from 1 to 5. Okay, and you have to take the column from 1 to 5. You can see right here, this value start from 20 and it end up at n minus 1 location, means 29. So you can see it end up at 29th row, and the column start from the first location and it end up with n minus 1 location. So what is n minus 1 location? 5 minus 1 is 4 location. So it will show the output 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, everyone, using some condition. Okay, so you have to use the data by selecting some condition. Selecting data using conditions. Okay. So how you can select the data from the conditions? We have a query statement right here. So what is the data? Data is present inside this data variable, that is df, and we can call a query function query. Okay, this is a function name query, and you have to show the data with some conditions. Okay, so let's suppose that I am taking the condition that some value present in the column F4 that should be greater than 20, and you have to show, and you have to use the value f1 that should be equal to 1. Okay, so how you can show this output? Just execute it. So right here you will see this is the column number F4. Okay, and F1, all the values greater than 20 and equal to 1 will be shown right here. Okay, those values which are equal to 1, those are shown right here, and those values which are greater than 20 for F4 column, these are shown. So you concentrate on F4. Okay, you concentrate on F4 only, and you concentrate on F1 only. So F1 will show its output only when it is 1. Okay, and F4 will show its output only when it is greater than 20. Okay, note another condition that F1 column contain only one value. So this is another condition. You can observe this F1 and all the values are 1. And this AND statement is used right here. Okay, and this is a logical operator. When this AND operation is true, when both conditions will satisfy, okay, then it will give you a true signal. If any one of the condition will be not uh, considered or will be not met, then it will give you the false result. Okay, so right now you can see right here this F1 and this F4, if these both the values are matching, then it will show the output. Otherwise, it will not show the output. So right here you can see both the statements inside this query block will satisfy, then it will send the true signal. And take the value greater than 30 and take the value column number F1, and that value should be equal to 1, then you will show the output, okay, in the form of shapes. Clear? So what you have to do, you have to use the same code which I have used right here, and inside the query you have to replace the value. Okay, so I have told you, you have to use this F4 column which is greater than the value of 30, and you have to use the F1 column that will match to the 1, and then you have to show the shape. Okay, then you have to show the shape of the data. Okay, so you can see how many entries are there which satisfy this particular condition. Okay, so it says that there are 0 out of 8 entries. Okay, so this F4 is greater than 30, 0 entry will be there, and F1 satisfy these conditions, this is 8 entries. Okay, so you can see the output right here that this F4 should be greater than 10, and you have to use the OR operator now. You have to use the OR operator instead of AND operator. You have to use the OR operator, and you will use the F1 value is equal to 0 and find its shape. So you can see right here how many values that are greater than 10. These are 7,460 values. And in F1, it shows the 8. Okay, so you have to define the correlation of the data set. So what is the correlation? Correlation means how much your values will be related to the other values. Okay, so right here you can see the diagonal values of this particular data. Okay, so you can observe right here what is the maximum correlation. You can see this is the maximum correlation in the diagonal. Okay, you can observe this diagonal right here. This diagonal is showing the maximum correlation value. Okay, this diagonal is showing the maximum correlation value. This is 1, this is also 1, this is also 1. So 100% correlation is there between these values. Okay, so how you can find out it? You can say on the x-axis, okay, you will find the 7 id to f7 column, and on the y-axis similar columns are used right here. If you correlate this id with the id, you will get maximum correlation right here. If you match this f1 with the f1, then maximum correlation will appear right here. Similar, it will happen with the f2, f3, and so on. Okay, so you can see right here, maximum correlation will appear when you match something similar to that. Okay, so chord, this particular image of a cat should be matched to the image of a cat, okay, with the same feature, then the correlation is maximum in that case. Okay, some shapes of that cat and features of that cat will differ, but correlation will give you some match over the time.